Question number 9. Bill C51, sometimes known as the Secret Police Bill, gives power to the government agencies to monitor Canadians. But millions feel this is an unreasonable loss of privacy. Do you support the scrapping of Bill C51? And you'll see it's also up here for those of you.
It's a good question. Our position of the Liberal Party when we supported it was we did it on the condition that when we became government, we would make changes to it that Canadians had concerns about. In particular, we were concerned about parliamentary oversight, about the sharing of information unnecessarily, about there not being a sunset clause, and about it not being able to come back to Parliament as a matter of course, as was our legislation post 9/11, and just generally about the way the bill went through. We as Liberals realize that you have to balance your rights under the Charter, and let me tell you, as a human rights lawyer, these rights are dear to me. But we also have to balance that with our security. And it's easy to take the position that security rules, and it's easy to take the position that rights rule. But in the middle, there's got to be a way to advance our rights and secure them while at the same time protecting our national security. We feel that this is the way to do it. This is not a Liberal piece of legislation. We wouldn't have written it this way. We tried to put forth amendments. Some of them we got approved, some of them we didn't get approved. Our amendments were not supported by the NDP. At the end of the day, our firm commitment is to make these changes, in particularly the parliamentary oversight one, as soon as we get into office. Thank you.
Bill C51, yes, it has had some controversy, but we are in that bill just catching up to our Five Eyes partners. Our Five Eyes are the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand. They are our closest allies, and we have literally just caught up to them with this bill because we need to do our part in many ways in fighting terrorism. Now, it's not an easy subject, and it's a sensitive subject, but I can tell you when I was chair of the Standing Committee on Justice and Human Rights, not chair, sorry, I was the caucus chair, and we looked at our terrorism bills we were putting through at that time. There were other anti-terrorism bills going through. Both the Liberals and NDP on the committee didn't want to admit or accept that terrorism is an issue in Canada at all. And it is an issue. We had widows of 9/11 victims. We had family members from the Air India bombing. We had Canadians where terrorism has touched their lives give the most poignant testimony. And it is real. It is here. Our law enforcement agencies know that. They're dealing with it all the time. So all we're trying to do is give them the tools. We believe, of course, in the privacy rights of Canadians. I, too, my friend here has done some things in the human rights area. I was an administrative law judge on the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal. I sat on these cases, and I take that very seriously. Privacy and the dignity of the person. But we also have to be realistic about the world we live in and give them the tools that they need. Thank you.
I'd just like to rebut something Kerry mentioned there about the Five Eyes, is the idea that we're catching up to them. We're the only nation in the world that has granted our government the right to plant evidence against its enemies. The other Five Eyes nations can't do that. They haven't granted themselves that right. We're charting new territory in totalitarian regime type behavior. So there's no doubt that terrorism is an issue, but whether or not it's the biggest issue facing Canada right now is definitely up for debate. And the one question, the Conservatives want to change the subject to terrorism from we're in the second recession on their watch. What about the economy? Why is the only thing that they're willing to invest in dirty energy? Dirty oil, tar sands expansion, pipelines. Why won't they look at sustainable development? The other thing that this also highlights the whipping issue. The Liberals had to vote because their leader told them they had to vote in favor of Bill C51 because he thought it was politically expedient. A Green member of Parliament would never be whipped to vote against the interests of Delta. If you want Delta's needs pushed on Ottawa, then you elect a Green member of Parliament. If you want Ottawa's feelings projected on Delta, then stick with Conservatives, Liberals, or NDP.
I always like talking about C51 because it's such a tremendously bad bill that there are so many things to say about it. First and foremost, a couple of things. All our Five Eyes partners, they have parliamentary oversight, which is not something the Conservatives decided to include in C51. I encourage everyone in the room to go and read the tremendous analysis that has been done by Craig Forsyth and Kent Roach. They're two legal scholars who have torn this bill to shreds very, very well. Keep in mind, this is a bill that allows the government to establish a secret court in which evidence can be brought against an individual citizen without their knowledge, without the evidence being presented to them, and a case made by the government to allow government agencies to contravene their charter rights. That's not a Canada that I want to live in. I don't know about any of you. But I don't want to live in a Canada where the government can contravene my rights on evidence that I don't get to see. So that is certainly one of the major issues. We have been very clear from the very beginning. We will repeal C51, full stop. We also did propose 150 amendments to the bill, one of which was this bill is so bad that it has to be scrapped and we need to start again. Obviously, that amendment wasn't accepted, but this is a crucial security issue for us. Security of our rights, security of our defense against government unfair and unneeded government intervention. Security agencies have said they don't need more rules like this. They don't need superfluous legislation. What they need is more resources. That's what they've been telling us, and that's what we're going to do, is give them the resources they need instead of bad bills like C51. So, in short, the Conservatives created it, the Liberals supported it, we will repeal it.